Alright, welcome everybody. This is AOR America F1 League. This is the Italian Grand Prix. My name is arebigga. This is my YouTube channel, Bigga Racing. I stream some of my own league races here. Generally, I haven't really done too many league broadcasts here, but pretty happy to be streaming AOR for you guys here. Hope you enjoy the broadcast. A couple newcomers from what I gathered here today. Those guys, JHN in the Racing Point there, and TF1 Mansell in the Ferrari. So 15 cars out here. I have a comment, but no viewers. That's interesting. No cars out here quite yet, but looks like a Williams first out. It's Camden Luca. Hi, Bigga Racing. Hello, Matthew Hildenbrand. Who are you on track? I'd like to know which driver you are. Are you just driver in a different part of AOR or something, maybe? Get some new fans tonight, I feel. Camden Luca is definitely going to be the first guy putting a hot lap in. We got a Ferrari out as well. That's TF1 Mansell putting in the out lap. Warm those tires up nicely and see what kind of time you can set. So, look, the weather looking pretty nice here. It looks really clear, at least for qualifying. Who knows what the race will hold, but weather looking good at the moment. I'd like to see any of the drivers in the chat can maybe let me know. If they could let me know what the weather is going to be for the race. I'd be interested to see. Likely thinking dry, because I saw a few guys got out there pretty fast, and usually when the race is wet, they usually spend a little more time tinkering with their setup to try and get it really ready for the wet racing. So more than likely it's dry, I guess, based on that. Let's get back to Camden. He's the first guy in a hot lap. Heading into the first chicane. Always a tricky spot. Not really too much risk of cutting that one, though. It's just a really slow one, and if you mess the exit up, you lose a lot of time all the way through Curva Grande here. Sector 1. Oh, I'm going to get that data up. Apologies there. He's gone purple there in Sector 1, obviously. He's the first guy to do it. Those soft tires. A lot of guys are. The only guy on the mediums at the moment is Vitality. Vitality in that Red Bull car on the medium tire. See what kind of time he can set. Camden purple again, obviously. Little hesitant through Ascari there. Probably has a bit more time in the lap for sure. Just wants to make sure this one gets on the board and kind of get that banker in, because I will say it is quite easy to invalidate your lap around here. Also the risk of crashing. Sometimes you get on a chicane curve and you end up spinning it. So get a good banker lap on the board there. 20.4 from Camden. We did see in the previous session before it was restarted a 19.4 from BRT Foss. So see if he can get back around that level again. Who do we have there? Mansell coming across the line. There he is. Just starting a lap? I guess that last one didn't count, maybe. Because he was supposed to be on a flyer, I think. Get this or die puts a 20.5 up, so he's about a tenth and a half behind his teammate. There's a Red Bull crossing the line. Is it Vitality? It is. 21.5 for Vitality. So close to one soft runner, but generally off the pace compared to the other soft runners. He is ahead of Phil, though, on a 22.4 for Phil on the soft. RC just finished a lap. He's got a 20.8 up on the board. It was Beck through Ascari. He's invalidated, so this lap is not going to count. I imagine Camden heading back into the pits. Looks like him up the road there. He is. Oh, who's that? That's Get This or Die. He is off the track. And it looks like he has lost it in the exit of the first Lesmo. He's at the second Lesmo, still off the road here. Yeah, big incident there for Get This or Die. He's really gone right off. And struggling to get back on here. He's going to take that DRS sign out if he's not careful. Just avoids it. There we go. He's back on the track. Safe again. That lap. I think they're heading in the pits here. This is Cam K Mom. I get that glitch again where I can't scroll up. I have to go all the way through the bottom. Curtsy, 19.2, so he's on provisional pole. He's edged out BRT Foss, who's gotten close to his previous time, 19.6, but we do know he's got a couple tenths more than that at least, possibly even more. Aletti just behind, only 100th off of BRT Foss, so Aletti in the Haas car, 19.6. So these front three kind of separating themselves from the rest of the field at the moment. Everybody else also on the softs, except for Vitality. He's on the mediums, but even if you don't have the greatest pace in a 15-car field, even if you're literally ninth fastest, you can start on the medium tire and get on a better strategy. So I think you'll probably see quite a few guys floating around that 5th to 9th range, maybe put the mediums on and see if they can hang on to their position. There's not a ton of cars here, so the threat of being knocked out of the top 10 not terribly high. On board here with Scudes Lucerius. Oh man, that's a mouthful. I think I'm just going to call him Scuda? Yeah, let's call him Scuda. That works for me. Scuda. Let's try to find someone on a hot lap here. What do we got? Scuda's invalidated, so he's not the guy. Jay Chan's invalidated. Yeah. Back on an out lap. Also invalidated. JFD. Looks like he's on a flyer. Let's ride with JFD. He's coming through the first Lesmo here. Nice and smooth on the exit there. Doesn't use too much curb. This one you almost want to not really use the brake there. You kind of just want to hurl it through and lift. But looks pretty good through the second Lesmo as well. Down towards the Ascari chicane here. Excellent through Ascari, just runs a little wide, but doesn't get dinged for that, and I think that's going to count. It's no red on that track map, so JFD looks like he could be putting in a good lap here. He got a really good launch out of the exit of Ascari. Here he comes around the Parabolica. JFD, can he get provisional pole? He's 19.7, so he's 5/10 off provisional pole, but he's right there behind Aletti and Foss, so he could threaten for a top 2. Front row start, but at the moment it's got to find some more time if he wants to challenge for pole position. Let's see if we can find another driver on a flyer. That looks like is that Curtsy coming around? Looks like he's just about to start a hot lap. So he's he's on provisional pole to 19.2. Let's ride with Curtsy. Obviously set the fastest time so far. We know he's quick. This should be a really fun lap to watch. We'll ride on board with Curtsy. Let's see if he can improve that pole position time. It's 9 minutes left in qualifying right now, so plenty of other time to ride with some other drivers before the end of the session as well. Let's get some of that stuff off the screen here. Let's just ride with Curtsy. He's down on his previous lap, so he needs to find some more time here in Sector 2. Heads into the Lesmos. Good out of the first one, a little bit wide, but keeps it steady. Nice on the exit of the second Lesmo. As he ran a little wide, but it still counts. You see the map there, not red, so it's still going to count here. Curtsy heading down in towards Ascari here. Oh, he's just on the limits there. Yeah, nice and smooth on the exit. That's a good exit out of Ascari. This looks like it could be a good lap here. Let's bring this data back up. It looks like he's a little bit down on his Sector 2 time, according to the timing. Let's see if he can find maybe a 10th or 2 here in the final sector. BRT Foss has edged him out by 300ths here, and Kurtzy trying to shorten the track as much as possible. Does not, he improves, but only 3,000, so it's hardly noticeable. Foss has edged him out by 3/10. What was that? Somebody just straight-lined turn 1 chicane there. I think that might have been a Letty, perhaps. It looks like, based on where he is, more than likely who it was, because it was about 10 seconds ago. I'm assuming that's not allowed. I mean, I'm just the new commentator, but can't get caught being naughty. Sometimes you're gonna get busted. I don't miss much, just gonna warn you. Here comes Phil. What's he doing? Is he on a hot lap? It looks like he is. Let's ride with Phil. Phil is in 14th right now. He really needs to find some time here. Let's see how he does. I'd really like to see what kind of lap time he can set. See, he was timed, but now it says he's on an out lap. I don't know if that's true or not. I really hate to ride with somebody on an out lap. He does have everything turned up. I think the game's glitching. It does that. I don't think he also cut the Lismo there, but kind of got away with it. No, he's turned everything down. Okay, so this isn't going to count. He's either not going to count or he's not pushing. But pretty much everybody else in the pit, not many people out here. We got Blinn Machine out here. Familiar name, I believe. I think I've tuned into a couple races he's been the commentator of. So, Blinn Machine currently in 9th, so he's in the top 10. He's going to have to start on the tires he qualified on if he remains there. But he's out on the softs right now, coming through Sector 2. See what kind of time he sets here as he approaches the Ascari chicane. Oh, he's way down. Yeah, he's not pushing. I guess he's down at 0, so maybe he's just getting ready for a lap here. A few guys on their out lap now. Alright, Blinn Machine into the pits, so he's not going on a flyer there. Maybe just getting a feel for things. JHN does not have a time yet, and he's on his flyer right now. Let's see what he can do here. He's coming through Sector 2. Let's see what kind of sector time he sets. I don't really know in relevance to the other drivers where it will be, and we're not going to have a delta because he doesn't have a time yet either. But, what's important for him right now is to just get a lap on the board. I think he'd have time. He might just have enough time to get back around and get back out for one final run. It's going to be nip and tuck, but it's doable. So he needs to get this time on the board, not cut or make a mistake. He's only got one turn left here. It's Parabolica, so relatively easy corner, but you can run wide and lose a lot of time. He looks tidy through there, so let's see what kind of time JHN sets here. It looks like it's going to be a 21-1. It didn't get registered, though, so that's curious. Was it an outlap, maybe? Pretty quick time for an outlap. There's a Haas car off, getting out of the way there. Let's find somebody else to watch. We got a couple guys at the front here on hot laps at the moment. Mansell is one of them. Beck is the other. Beck behind him. Did Beck just have a moment, though? There was a yellow flag there. Maybe that was just that Haas car ahead. Let's get back to Mansell. He's ahead on the track, so we'll check in with his lap first. He is up on his Sector 1 time, according to the timing there. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if I can commit to hosting or broadcasting every week, but I generally am around at 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening, so more than likely I could probably do it. But we do have I have quite a few connections and plenty of guys willing to do commentary for F1 racing, so could probably get you a couple guys that could probably fill in here and there if I can't make it, or maybe I just need a week off for whatever reason. But Mansell goes 19.4 on his lap there. Beck heads into the pit, so he doesn't actually put that lap time up. He's going to get back out there, though. He's going to be received by his pit crew and then get a fresh set of boots and head back out for one final run as the session winds down. 3 minutes to go in qualifying here in the AOR America League. And we are in Italy at Monza, the famous track, the Tifosi run rampant. And they got their boy Mansell sitting in 4th currently. Aletti goes 19 flat in that Haas car. That is a very good lap time from Aletti. We'll see if the guys behind can challenge. They need to get just over 2/10 to get back to provisional pole. That's Foss and Kurtzy. They were the closest challengers so far. And then Mansell, he's within reach as well. I'm not sure JFD and Beck have 5/6 in their lap time, but they could challenge as well. We do have is that John is coming into the pits, it looks like. We do have a Ferrari coming across the line. That is Mansell heading into the pits. And there's that glitch again where I have to go all the way through. Terrible. Look at the rush of cars. Everyone just heading out suddenly. Some of these guys going to be rushing to get back out. I'm not sure some of these guys being received, like this Ferrari here, Toro Rosso and the Racing Point up ahead. They're being received currently by their pit crew. Doubtful that they're going to get back around in time. It's going to be very tight for some of those guys. We will check in with them shortly, but for now it looks like we have Scuda. What's he doing here? He's out of fuel, so he's done. Get This or Die is on a flyer. Let's ride with him currently. I think he's the first guy that's going to put in a hot lap at the end of the session here. He might even get a chance to do one more flyer, so if he doesn't... I think he's far enough into the lap that if he doesn't feel like it's a good enough one, he can back out of this and give it another go here. Mansell's out. Did he retire in the pits? Yeah, he did. Okay, so sorry to get overly excited there. I see retired, sometimes yellow flag. Commentator senses tingle. He has just retired in the pits, though, content with his 19.4. Maybe knows he doesn't have much more in that lap. Obviously doesn't have time to get back out there either. I don't think he was the guy I saw getting put in the garage there. So Get This or Die actually down on his time. So if I were him, I'd back out of it. Yeah, he has. He's turned everything down. He's backed out of this. So he's going to just coast here and get another run. You got a couple cars up ahead going slow here. Definitely not what you want to see if you're looking for another fresh run. Although maybe get a little bit of a tow here if you time it right. Possibly. A few guys retiring now as they know they can't get back out in time. So comes Blin Machine. He's about to start a hot lap. We have Vitality has just crossed the line to start a hot lap. Let's check in with other drivers here. Beck is about halfway through the lap. Curva Grande, sorry, halfway through sector 1. Curva Grande there. We have RC. He is on an out lap. Is he going to make it? No, RC will not make it. No dice for RC. Kurtzy might. Nope, Kurtzy does not make it. Kurtzy's done. So Kurtzy will not improve his time. He is out. Who is the first driver on a hot lap back there? Is it Beck? I think it is. So let's check in with Beck. And then I think we've got... I'm just going to figure out who it is quickly. We've got Foss behind Beck. And then we have Red Bull. We have a Red Bull on track. It's Vitality, but I believe he's retired. So not actually on a lap at the moment. Let's go back to Beck. He's coming through the Parabolica now. So we got time Beck can set here. Can he challenge for pole position? Looks like it's going to be a good time. 19.3 for Beck. Not close enough. BRT Foss, can he take pole? He's been fighting for it all night so far. Shortening that track as much as possible. Here he comes. 18.9, he takes pole position. Foss onto pole provisionally. We've got a couple cars coming around. Here comes Blin Machine. No, he bails on his lap. He is done. Camden, no. Get This or Die is done. Is anyone else out there on a lap? I don't think they are. JFD tried to get out. He did not. And that looks like it's it for qualifying here. BRT Foss sneaks in at the last second and edges out Aletti for pole position. Aletti takes second. Kurtzy is in third. Beck is fourth. Mansell fifth. JFD sixth. RC is in seventh. Vitality is in eighth. Blade Machine ninth. Scuda, as I've aptly renamed him, is 10th. Camden Luca is 11th. Get This or Die is 12th. Cam K Mom is 13th. West Virginia Phil, I'm assuming that's what it stands for, 14th. I'm rooting for Phil. I would like to see Phil have a point here tonight. It's easy for people to crash here, man. If any of you guys are listening, you know, and you're sitting there 13th, 14th thinking you ruined your evening, I really wouldn't worry too much because people are going to crash here. You'll get some free spots if you just keep it on the road. That would be my advice to you. So that's the end of quali. Jump through that list, make sure we show everybody's times, just in case they need that in the scoring. Alright, we'll take a quick little break. I will be back in a brief moment with the formation lab for you. I'm just going to step away for a sec. Alright, we're back. Formation lap is underway. Fox leading the pack at the moment. Just coming through the Curva Grande now. Its tail sneaking through there. So 15 cars out here. Let's take a look at what everybody decided to go with outside the top 10 tire-wise. John is JHN, I guess. I don't really know what it is, but he has decided to go with the soft tire from last place. Interesting strategy there. I mean, he might get a good enough launch that he makes it ahead of all the medium runners ahead. Then it might not be such a bad strategy, but my advice, I think Phil in a good spot actually. He's sitting 14th on the medium tire, so if he just kind of hangs back, yeah, Team Money, I know. Sometimes you gotta help a friend out. But T-Money, or sorry, not T-Money, he isn't race here. Just hanging out in chat, distracting me. But Phil in 14th, yeah, if he just hangs back there on those mediums, runs that long first stint, you can make up some ground. You know, people retiring and whatnot, and I'm betting there's going to be a safety car, probably. Just given that turn 1 here is usually a bit of a mess. The nice thing is there's only 15 cars, so it'll be a little bit easier to get through here. I'll leave that telemetry off the screen just for the start of the race, kind of keep things a little cleaner for you. And here we go. We're going to have the lights shortly, and we're going to get this AOR race underway. We've got 3 lights on, we've got the 5 lights on, and we're off. It's lights out here in Italy, and it looks like Aletti got a pretty solid start, but Foss a better one. He is well ahead into turn one. Curtsy alongside Foss here. What do we have? We've got some good action here. Everybody keeping it clean, side by side through the first turn. Good driving here, and the Red Bull gets pushed off a little bit. Nothing too bad, though. Everybody keeps it nice and tidy. Good to see. Nice clean action there in turn one. It's what you want to see, especially in Monza. It's a tricky part to start a race. Good action at the back here. Let's get back to the front here. Oh, side by side, we've got the Toro Rosso of Beck going around Aletti there. Aletti's made a mistake, and he's now under threat from Mansell as well. Can Aletti defend it? Mansell all over the back of Aletti. Oh, we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. Somebody is off. It looks like a Red Bull. It looks like they lost it out of the exit of the first Lesmo. It's Vitality. He's down in last place now. He's lost all his positions with a moment there. Not too sure if there was contact or maybe just a moment on his own. But right now, Mansell looking to find a way through on Aletti here, who's made a mistake. He let Beck get in front after Curtsy got through on the race start. And now Mansell applying the pressure here. Cam K Mom has retired. We've got a big crash in Ascari. Oh, I've missed that. And let's get on board with Vitality here. We have carnage. Obviously a safety car here. 3 cars out on the exit of Ascari. That is a big crash. Oh my. Phil, Cam K, and Get This or Die. All 3 medium runners out of the race in the Ascari chicane. Now that is something. And the guys jumping in the pits right now have a huge advantage. All the medium runners are out of the race. These guys getting onto the different tire are in prime position now to challenge for a victory here. This is extremely interesting. The way the field was split, where the accident occurred, most of the field had already gone past the pit lane. So all these guys are out here on the soft, and by the time the safety car collects them, these guys... Yeah, I mean, Scuda's definitely got to go past the safety car, surely. He can't, like, he's not lapped. He has to go by it, right? Not a lapped car. Go around, for sure, yeah. Okay, Vitality as well. So these guys, by the time the safety car collects the field, these guys are going to be right on the train. Like, they're in no danger of losing any time to these guys ahead, and they're already... The pit stop's done. So, if it gets to the point of catch the safety car queue, they don't have to follow the delta. These two on the mediums could close in and make up a lot of places on these soft guys because they're all going to definitely pit. But right now we've got Foss and Curtsy way ahead, and they are heading to the pit lane. Surely, I would imagine everybody... I don't know, maybe not. No, I guess not. I mean, if you have track position, who's going to do it? Like, how far down do you need to be before you think it's a good idea to pit here? Any of these guys? No, none of them. Not a single guy. So I guess maybe, I don't know. I think if they're maybe thinking that the softs are, you're going to be on them long enough that there's no point in giving up the track position at this point. But I mean, for a guy like, for John or Camden there, like, why not? Maybe not even, like, go under the hards, not the mediums even, right? You'll definitely get to the end. Maybe these guys got tangled in the incident and had to pit, so maybe that's why they're forced onto the mediums, perhaps. So maybe the guys on the soft staying out because they think that they're not going to be able to get up the mediums to the end anyway. Maybe the hard's just not competitive enough to race with some of these guys. You see some of the guys with the pace up here, like Foss, Curtsy, Aletti as well. Aletti in 4th, but he was definitely putting in really quick lap times in quali there. So some of these guys here, very fast, but 5-second penalty for John for exceeding track limits. Definitely can't be doing that under the safety car. Tends to give you a pretty hefty penalty. Aletti, though, you know, these guys at the front here, definitely going to have the pace to get away from the pack, so not a bad idea for them to stay out, but I think some of these guys hang around 6th, 7th, 8th. Maybe consider getting in the pits here and trying to leapfrog your front runners. You never know. Get another safety car and then they go in then. You're definitely getting ahead of them. Hard's probably not the most viable tire here, but if you don't think you have the pace to really challenge with the front runners, maybe you just focus on your shortening your overall race time rather than being able to race with the front runners. And sometimes you just have to accept the fact that you're not quick enough to be up there and make a strategy decision that works best for you overall. Let's see if anybody does it. Nobody really heading in, no, so I think everybody's just content to stay out now. Definitely would have been last lap if it was going to be a time to go in, so not surprised to see everyone stay out again. But as you know, as I mentioned though, unfortunate. I was rooting for Phil, but he's out. But you know, there's only 12 cars left, so we only got 12 cars left in the Grand Prix already. So you know, only 2 spots out of the points for anyone here, and a couple more retirements, and everyone gets points. So I mean, at this point, I guess there's nothing. You know, you kind of just have to follow the lead with the guy in front, strategy-wise. I'd be kind of worried about vitality though on those fresh mediums at the back. I think overall he might end up leapfrogging some of these guys in the softs. I'm not really too sure about the pace of Scuda. I've never really seen him race, but I have seen Vitality race and know he's got some pace. A bit of a bunch up here. Is the safety car coming back in? I didn't notice that at the bottom. Safety car is in this lap, yes. So let's get back to the front. Foss, I'm going to slow the pack here. Always a bunch up in Ascari under safety car conditions. I really don't understand it. A lot of these guys, I think some people just don't pay attention and then they come in there last second. So a 10-second penalty given to JHN now as well. So he's got 15 seconds in penalties under the safety car by my count. Or maybe I even missed some. But yeah, not great. Definitely detrimental to your race when you're getting penalties like that for no real good reason. So BRT Foss has really backed them up. This is quite a bunched up field here, and he has put the hammer down. He is restarting the Grand Prix here. The Mercedes driver gets a really good exit. It looks like he's got... Oh, Kurtzy's struggling with the grip there. The restart. He's got the cold tires. Beck is threatening now. Here comes Beck. Beck down the outside. He's going to be on the outside into turn 1, but he'll have the inside line for the next part of the chicane. So this is going to be interesting wheel-to-wheel scrap here. Can Beck get the move done? He goes late on the brakes, goes very deep, trying to get that inside line, and Kurtzy squeezes. Beck and Kurtzy make contact. I think Kurtzy needed to give a little more space to Beck there, but they both got out of it okay. Beck on the back foot, though, now. Aletti making his way back through. Here comes... Oh, big contact! Aletti and Beck off. A huge crash. Massive incident, massive crash. Aletti and Beck both off, high speed into the barrier, and the wheels off for both drivers, and now there are only 10, and surely we have another safety car. No? No safety car? Maybe just a VSC? Not even, it looks like. Yeah, the cars are getting cleared, and we continue to race. BRT Foss gone. He is 3.4 seconds out in front. And under no real threat here. Mansell behind in second place. Let's take a look at the oh, someone way off in the back there. It's JFD. He's gone very deep through the exit of Ascari. Lost a ton of time there. Now RC up into 4th place here, putting the pressure on Blind Machine. Blind Machine currently sitting in the final podium position, and RC wants something to do with that. He wants to stand on that podium, and he's knocking at the door. JFD behind, looking to apply the pressure to RC. He has something to say about RC's bid for the podium. Blind Machine, glad to see that Renault all over the back of RC here. Going to give him a little bit of breathing room, and there's a Williams of Camden tucked in behind as well, so he's applying the pressure now too. Mansell kind of just floating in that 3-4 second window there with Foss. See if he can close that down at some point. Beck has left the session, no surprise. I'm sure he's quite frustrated. I didn't really catch that incident close up, but I just saw it in the background. I saw 2 cars almost interlocked and just go flying off the exit of the first Lesmo and straight into the barricade. So, no doubt, I'm not surprised both cars retired there, but they were wheel-to-wheel, and neither driver yielding, and that's what happens. Sometimes hard racing results in a big accident like that. Surprised not to see another safety car, but here comes Camden looking for a peek in the Ascari chicane. Not going to do it, though. He thinks better of it. Probably a good idea. A long way to go here in this race still, and not too many cars threatening behind, so no need to do anything terribly drastic at this point. Who is that? That is Blin Machine getting passed by RC. RC makes his way around the outside through Parabolica. Actually, Blin Machine defends that down the inside. We're still wheel to wheel here. I think DRS going to be activated this lap. No, next lap, I believe. So they're still wheel to wheel. No DRS advantage for either driver here. JFD looking for a piece of this action as well. And they touch Blin Machine and JFD. JFD looking for some space here. He's got the inside. They touch on the exit. And it looks like JFD yielded to Blin Machine there. Just neither driver really making clean. No driver really earned the position there. So I think they just reset to where they were and get back to racing again. It was definitely not a clean overtake or not a clean defense in either manner, really. Just tight through there. I mean, it's tough to go wheel to wheel, so good job on them to not do any damage or bump each other off the road. That's the kind of wheel to wheel you want to see. You don't want to see the kind of wheel to wheel that took Beck and Aletti out of the Grand Prix here. JFD. Nope, they got a safety car. Oh, who is that? Camden Luca has binned it. Out the exit of the second Lesmo, Camden has lost the car. He's off in the barrier there, and he's lost his wheel. So here's the safety car. 9 cars left. Everybody here gets points. And John picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. My lord, he's having a disastrous night. But you know what? If I'm John, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I've got 2 points tonight. I don't give a crap what happens from here on out. Yeah, I almost slipped up there. But, yeah, I wouldn't care what happened, really. I mean, I've got 2 points on the board, and I'm not having a great evening here. I've got a lot of penalties, and I think just be happy that you're still in the race at this point, and you're going to get those points. So we do have a lot of drivers pitting right now. Foss pits. Down on the hards. He's going to the end. Mansell onto the mediums looking to go to the end. I think he can make it, too. Mediums, I think, will last from here. It looks like Foss may have made a mistake going on the hards here. Every other driver has put the medium tires on, and Foss has decided to go with the hards. I will be honest with you. I think, given that we just started the safety car laps, probably going to get racing around lap 10 or 11. Those mediums definitely have 16, 17 racing laps in them, in my opinion. So I think Foss may have blundered the strategy here. He's going to be slower on those hards, but he will definitely, for sure, have the tire life to make it to the end. And maybe that's the strategy for Foss, knowing that he has the pace here. Just decided to go with the hards to make sure he brings it home safely. Not a bad decision. If you know you're that much quicker, it's probably a good decision just to be safe. But the rest of the guys on the mediums, I think they're on the proper tire right now. That's going to be the most competitive tire. Scuda and Vitality on 6-lap old medium, so they're not. I don't think they're going to be able to go to the end. They can try to go to the end. They're going to be struggling. The fact that they're first and second might give them enough field spread that they don't have to worry about strategy too much towards the back of the field there. But take a look at who's remaining in the field, and from what I've seen so far, they're all pretty competitive drivers. Kurti in 8th is a threat, so really there's no safe position here. I think just being on the optimal strategy is the most important factor when you're in a 9-car race, especially under safety car. Like, I mean, the race is neutralized now, and there's only 9 cars left. Yeah, these two in the front pitting, that's the smart decision, I think. They're going to be on the back foot here if they don't, and you're going to save more time and only be in 9th or 8th and be on a fresh set. It's totally worth it. Good decision from those two, in my opinion. I definitely would have done the same. Scooted to the hards, and Vitality also to the hards. So they're making sure they can go to the end as well, but also, did they start on the mediums? I think they did. Vitality, I know, did. So definitely needed a different compound, and the softs aren't going to last, so maybe just no choice but to go under the hards. And I guess that would have been Foss's strategy as well. Or no, he was on the softs, wasn't he? So he's just trying to make the hards last. He didn't need to use them. So interesting. We'll see what happens here, actually. Mansell, RC behind, and Blin Machine on the mediums. All these guys on the mediums. Let's see if they can pressure Foss, because all these guys looking to go to the end of the race here, I would imagine. So given that, Foss on the back foot compound-wise, but we know pace-wise he is quick. So sitting in first currently, he definitely has a bit of an advantage. See what these other drivers can do. I'm interested to see if the medium guys can put the pressure on Foss here for the victory. And then Vitality and Scuda kind of forced into the hard strategy, but hey, you're 8th and 9th. If the guys on the mediums burn their tires out in front, you guys could end up fighting for podium at the end. Just pick them off with your nice fresh tires, so yeah, I wouldn't really feel too bad about that at this point. 8th and 9th, you're still in a great spot. You're getting good points tonight regardless. So it's nice, always nice to have a full field, but that's the advantage of a shorter field sometimes, is that you show up and you just don't make big mistakes and don't make huge errors that cost you a lot, and you end up putting yourself in a good spot. So we are bringing the safety car back in this lap. Foss is just getting his tires warmed up perfectly, and I think he's good to restart here. The car is just about to head into the pit lane here. Just crosses the finish line, so he's clear, and Foss gets the race restarted. Mansell under putting the pressure on. He actually got a pretty good restart, Mansell. He's closing on Foss already, so the race is on here. Let's see who made the right decision. Blinn Machine behind. Oh, did he have a moment? Well, we got somebody off again in Sector 1. Who is that? It's John? It is John once more. Just having a disastrous afternoon here in Monza. Not going his way. TF1 Mansell. Can he hang on to Foss? Kurtzy is very close to JFD here. Let's get to that. A little dust kicked up in the background there. That was Scuda, maybe? Kurtzy gets a good exit there. He is closing quickly on that Renault of JFD as they approach the Ascari chicane. RC is closing on Mansell as well, so maybe RC going to be the one to apply the pressure to Foss tonight. Kurtzy, JFD, very close to Blinn Machine here, so we're going to have some good racing action coming up shortly. And then we see ahead there, you can see off in the distance, RC all over the back of the Ferrari of TF1 Mansell. That's going to allow Foss to escape a little bit, and he's on those hard tires, so if Foss can give himself a nice little gap, he can just manage that and cruise home on those tires with no real concerns that they're going to burn out. But here comes JFD looking to make his move on Blinn Machine, and there they are. They're about to go 3 wide into turn 1. Blinn Machine trying to stay in there. He makes contact with JFD. Just looking for a bit more space, but I think Blinn Machine, it was time to let it go there. He was pretty far behind JFD, but just probably hoping that JFD would have left him a little more room. Don't blame him for sticking his nose in there, but I don't blame JFD for closing the door either, so all fair in my opinion. Blinn Machine trying to hang on to the back, but that's put Kurtzy right onto the back of Blinn Machine. Is he going to send it into Lesmo? Blinn Machine leaves space in Lesmo 1, but gets a better exit, so he's going to have him covered off through Lesmo 2 here. Who gets a better exit down on the run to Ascari? Kurtzy looking to apply the pressure, and we've got Vitality closing in too. He smells blood, and he is closing. Blinn Machine touches the grass a little bit. That's going to cost him some time through the exit here. Looks a little loose, and here comes Kurtzy. Really putting the pressure on. He's got a nice slipstream here, got a little bit of better exit, and he's hauling alongside, but Blinn Machine looks to have a pretty slippery setup, and without the slipstream there, Kurtzy not able to gain. Maybe just has that battery turned down. I guess we can bring that up now. I won't say it out loud in case people are listening in the Grand Prix, but I will bring it up so the viewers can take a peek at it with me. Yeah, you see, there we go. Kurtzy out alongside, sends it down the inside into turn 1. They're still wheel to wheel here. Blinn Machine goes very deep to defend that, and he's got the inside line through the exit. Oh, he gets on the grass on the exit. That's going to cost him through Curva Grande. Here we go. We're going to have another wheel to wheel corner with Blinn Machine and Kurtzy having a great little scrap here, and that's brought Vitality right into the mix. He's at the back sniffing for some of the action. Just waiting for these two to make a mistake so he can pounce, and Blinn Machine's made that mistake. Here comes Vitality now. Vitality all over the back of Blinn Machine, applying the pressure up the gearbox. Kurtzy has gotten away now. Now Blinn Machine has to worry about Vitality suddenly. Kurtzy not a threat suddenly as he's scampered off up the road. And Vitality now knocking at the door here on those hard tires, looking to make up some ground early here. Still got about 18 laps to go here in the Italian Grand Prix in AOR here. RC is still within the DRS range of Mansell. He is going to be looking for a way through shortly. And BRT Foss not really getting away there, so those hard tires may be costing him the pace he needs. And if either of those two behind on the mediums can keep touch and then apply the pressure, they might be able to make them last long enough and end up overtaking Foss before the end of the Grand Prix, because the tire life is similar. So they will wear at a relatively even rate. Obviously the hard's a little slower, but the pace advantage might still be to the mediums once the hards start to lose a bit of their life regardless. We'll have to see. Blue Machine gets a little loose there. Vitality applying the pressure now. He is right on the gearbox. And Blue Machine's starting to struggle with traction a little bit, it looks like. And yeah, Vitality just looking for a way through here, but those hards just don't have that outright pace you need to really scrap with a medium runner. But overall, he might end up forcing Blinn into burning his tires out, and then Vitality could end up overtaking him once Blue Machine overheats his tires. As Blue Machine defending quite valiantly here, so obviously he's going to be starting to overheat the tires a bit. Sometimes you can force drivers into errors once they really start defending and they get off their lines and start locking up a little bit more. They start to get a little more desperate, and then it just sort of snowballs, and you have this effect where the drivers suddenly he just can't really control the car properly, even though he's still in the prime life of his tire. It just, everything starts to fall away as the tires overheat. They just don't work as well, and so sometimes just applying the pressure consistently is enough to push a guy into a mistake, or to have him overheat his tires where he has to kind of ease off a little bit, and then you can kind of pounce at that point. But speaking of pouncing, here comes Scuda, the other hard runner at the back, and he's making a move here on Vitality, and they go wheel to wheel through the turn 1 and 2 complex. Nice and clean through there. And it looks like Vitality getting the switchback, and through Curva Grande, they're going to be side by side. Great news for Blinn. He can get away a little bit. He's broken that DRS to both drivers behind all the way through Curva Grande. Still wheel to wheel here. It looks like Scuda's got a bit of an advantage, slides ahead, and he's cut the first part of the corner there. He already had the place, so no big deal that he cut the corner, but definitely getting a warning for that at least. So keep an eye out for a penalty on the bottom of the next few laps there, maybe coming for Scuda. Definitely has one for sure there. Vitality applying the pressure still very close. This is definitely the closest scrap we have on track, these two. And Blue Machine not too... I wouldn't say Blue Machine really getting away. Without these two squabbling, Blue Machine is under threat. So it'll only be a matter of time before these two get back up there and start putting the pressure on Blue Machine again. John way behind, but again, still got 2 points. I'd be happy. Take that home with me. Don't care, 35 seconds behind or not. Yeah, I'd rather race people, no doubt, but if it's points, it's points. Scuda, he is closing back in on Blinn here. Blinn has lost the DRS. He had that second lead. RC picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, so that is going to play into the advantage of Foss and Mansell in the competition for the lead there. If you do notice, we've got a pretty nice little scrap here with Scuda Vitality putting the pressure on Blinn. John has retired, so he gets 2 points even though he DNF'd. Does he? No, he crashed. I don't think he does. He didn't finish 90% of the race, did he? I don't know what the rules are here in AOR, but oh, VSC, and there's some contact there. Scuda runs into the back of Blinn. Did Scuda damage his wing? It looks okay. Could be very minor damage, but yeah, John, I don't think you get... I don't know what the rules are, but if he has to finish 80 to 90% of the Grand Prix, which is generally what most leagues, I think, the rules are in most leagues. I mean, that's the rule in real life. I think it would be replicated in most leagues for that reason, but I don't know that he actually gets his points because he didn't complete 90% of the race, or 80% even. We'll see. VSC, I'm sure someone will inform me after the Grand Prix. VSC ending here, DRS is enabled once more, so Mansell was within the DRS range of Foss, but he lost it during the VSC there. He is closing in though, so I think Foss has made a bit of a blunder here going on the hards. He is under threat now. I just, I know it might seem like a bold claim, but if you really think about it, why would Foss allow Mansell to come back into the DRS range if he was capable of building the gap? That's the way I look at it. Maybe you think maybe he's managing those hards to make sure that they last, and maybe the medium guys aren't going to make it, but um, I would suggest that nobody in their right mind, no matter what tire they were on, would allow another driver to close into the DRS range at a track like Monza. So, in my opinion, it looks like Foss made a mistake going on the hards, and he's losing pace to the guys behind. Mansell has made a couple mistakes, so I was riding on board with him. He made a couple mistakes on that lap, and he has lost that advantage he had, that DRS advantage. But I think it's only a matter of time before he closes back in, along with RC as well. RC's penalty is going to hurt him, but you never know. Like I said, if the outright pace is just there, the mediums could get away, and you could even build enough of a gap. So, see what Foss does here. Definitely needs to start pushing if he wants to win this race. Curtsy's all over the back of JFD here, and then we also have Scuda side by side here with Blade Machine. These three still scrapping here. Went and checked out the action at the front for a little bit, and I come back to these three still dueling. DRS for both drivers behind Scuda and Vitality. Scuda pulling out, looking down the inside. Here comes Vitality as well. It's going to be a double overtake. Is Blin going to lose 2 spots here? He locks up, and there's a bit of contact there. I think it's just wheel to wheel, though. Blin keeps that spot, and there's a red flag up at, or yellow flag, sorry, up ahead. A red flag, a red Ferrari. It's Mansell. Lost the car. So, Mansell struggling. I don't know what happened, but he has lost the car there, and he has lost his duel with Foss at the front there. RC, the only hope to challenge Foss now. Can RC challenge for the victory here? That is some good racing behind with Vitality and Blin. They were wheel to wheel there as they approached the Lesmos, and it looks like Vitality comes out on top for the moment, but Blin Machine still on the tail. Vitality on the tail of Scuda as well. So there is a very, very good scrap here. It's been going for a few laps, and it's still going. These drivers wheel to wheel, looking for some space there. Scuda has to send it down the inside as he locked up, and Vitality had to run wide to give him some room. Good job from both those drivers keeping that clean, though. It just looked like a mistake by Scuda there, and it could have been ending in tears for all three. It would have been a huge moment if they had collided in front of Blin. Blin and Vitality there swapping places again. Here comes Blin. Now he's going to have DRS on Scuda. Can he use that to his advantage and separate himself from Vitality? JFD has been passed by Curtsy. I missed that watching the scrap back here. But we got 3 cars in the action here, so this is good racing action to keep an eye on. They're still wheel to wheel, these two, Blin and Vitality. Blin gets the better exit out of the chicane. Actually, I'm sorry, Vitality got a much better exit, actually, but Blin did much better on the entry into the chicane there. But Vitality goes around the outside through Curva Grande and takes the place back, so Blin with work to do once more. Back in 8th, and looking to put the pressure on Vitality again. Vitality, it's working out for Scuda nicely, though, because he is almost breaking that DRS at the moment. What Blin would hope for, I think, was... Like, well, looks like Blin made a mistake there, and he might lose DRS. But Vitality is closing fast on Scuda here, and that might leave Blin in the dust if these two break the DRS to Blin behind. Now Blin closes back in. Good stuff from him. Keeping on the tail. And JFD trying to hang in that DRS range of Curtsy. Definitely got the advantage now as they come down the straight. But is he going to be close enough to make a move? Let's jump to that quickly as they approach turn 1. JFD closing very quickly with that DRS. A huge advantage at the slipstream, but not close enough to take a look. Let's get back to the 3-way scrap here. Vitality putting the pressure on Scuda now. He sends it down the inside, and Blin trying to hang on at the back. Oh, big lockup from Scuda there, and he's off, and he's going to probably get a... No, he doesn't get a penalty for that. He lifted enough to avoid the penalty, but what it did cost him is a position to both drivers. So, in my opinion, I think if you don't lift enough through there, they will give you a pretty hefty penalty, so good on him for not picking up that penalty, because ultimately, he still has plenty of time to pass both these drivers and finish ahead of them. Doesn't have to really worry. Oh, he's off. Is that Vitality? He spun. So Vitality has removed himself from that 3-way battle. He has cost himself an immense amount of time here, and it's going to be tough for him to get back to the 2 ahead. But Scuda now and Blin Machine will be dueling it out. Let's get back to that scrap with JFD and Curtsy, who is now closing on RC as well. So RC not able to keep up with Foss ahead. So it's just going to be these two now. here comes Curtsy with the DRS. He's got JFD in tow behind, also with the DRS. Get on board here with Curtsy. See if he can close enough. He's closing quickly on RC here, but it's not going to be enough yet. We'll have to wait for the next... Oh, he sends it very late, and he's across the curb and makes contact. That was an awful maneuver. That wasn't even close to a legal overtake. It was terrible, and that's actually cost him a position to JFD as well. And now he's onto the grass on the outside too, and cost himself more time through Curva Grande. So he's actually cost himself a place. He's cost himself a chance at RC, and he's cost himself time in the battle with these two as well. And now track position. So I don't really think that was a necessary maneuver. He definitely is a fast driver. He clearly has the pace. Absolutely no need to send it like that, and it was never going to stick. It was never going to be legal. Yeah, not sure it was intentional, of course. I don't know. I mean, this is my first time commentating on this league, so maybe he just locked up and just couldn't make the turn, and that's what he had to do, but it was a pretty rough move regardless. I definitely shunted RC pretty good, but luckily no damage or any lasting, lasting issues came from it, so other than to Curtsy, and obviously it was his mistake in the first place, so, you know, sometimes that's how it is. But JFD has lost the DRS, and now Curtsy has it, and he sweeps across in front of JFD, just barely ahead of him, and closes him off into the corner. So Curtsy gets that place back, and now looking to close back in on RC here. I'd imagine with 8 laps to go here, be a little more careful the next time through trying to make the overtake on RC. Clearly has the pace. He's closed back in quite fast. I don't really think it needs to be done the way he tried before. That's just my opinion. Who am I? I'm just a commentator. Comes Scuda with a good exit there, but he kind of gets blocked off by Blinn. Not intentionally, of course. Blinn just parked himself in a good spot there, and Scuda just didn't really have a line into the Wesmos. So, oh, and he touches the grass there. So Blinn gonna get a bit of a better exit here. Curtsy picks up a 3-second penalty. So RC and Curtsy even on penalties now. So they're heads up racing as far as I know. I don't know if Curtsy maybe had another one earlier, but you know, RC caught one earlier, and Curtsy definitely has one now. So this could be actually a proper duel here. So Curtsy again with the DRS. Here's the helicopter cam. This is going to be a nice shot here as they approach and they cut away from it. I don't know. Anyways, Curtsy around the outside this time. Can he get it done? RC looking to defend it. Goes down the inside. He locks up. And there's some wheel-to-wheel contact there. Curtsy goes across the chicane to try to get back onto the track, and RC maintains the position there. So RC locks up and kind of forces Curtsy across the chicane there. Again, though, Curtsy the one going for the overtake, so RC not necessarily having to yield that place, but looks like he does, just out of sportsmanship. And Curtsy with a big moment. He nearly loses the car there, and RC's all over the back of him now as they approach the Lesmos. And here comes JFD as well, knocking at the door. Hey, RC just showing a bit of sportsmanship there. Looks like he let Curtsy go just to be certain that he wouldn't get penalized for that. But, yeah, forced him across the corner, but again, Curtsy was... The onus is on Curtsy to make the overtake as well, so I don't know that he had to give the place up, but probably a good choice just to be safe. As long as you're within DRS, you can still fight here. So here comes JFD, trying to hang on to the back of those two. RC's got that slipstream and that DRS, so he's going to be pulling away from JFD a little bit because he's a bit closer to the car ahead. Curtsy going to be in trouble here. You can see his back end sliding around a little bit, and RC goes wide. Definitely not what he needs there. That's kind of cost him time, and here comes JFD now. JFD might be the guy to threaten Curtsy as he is closing on RC here. And he's close enough to gain the slipstream, but not close enough because of that DRS ahead with RC. He just can't get the speed he needs to close in. RC jumping over the curb there on the exit, and he's got a pretty poor exit out of the chicane. And now JFD all over him into Curva Grande here. Curva Grande, Curvy Grande. I don't know. I think I mixed it up there. Yeah. Anyway, good action though. I mean, there's only 8 cars left, but it's been a really good battle between JFD and RC and Kurtzy, and then Scuda, Vitality, and Blinn having a really good scrap as well. It's unfortunate Vitality had that moment and fell behind because he was really giving us a good show. Let's get back to that scrap, speaking of, because Scuda is now applying pressure once more, riding on the left shoulder of the McLaren driver as he opens that DRS down towards the Ascari chicane. Blinn machine ahead, parking it kind of in the center of the road there just to make sure he covers any late moves. Scuda definitely not close enough to think about a move there, though. Blinn looks like he got a really good exit out of Ascari there, so that's going to help him as they approach Parabolica, but he's still going to be under threat just given that slipstream advantage Scuda has. Still going to be under threat into turn 1 here. So here comes Scuda. Yeah, good exit out of Parabolica there. Gets a little wide on the curb, maybe cost himself a bit of time. It looks like Blinn just has a slippery setup, eh? Like, look at the top speed here. You know, even with the DRS, Scuda not closing as fast as he needs to. And then Blinn just parks it in the center of the track, and there's not even an attempt for a late lunge from Scuda or anything there, because based on where Blinn parks his car, RC picks up another time penalty. That's going to cost him in his battle with Kurtzy, and definitely in his battle with JFD, right behind him still. But Scuda really pressured Blinn here. But yeah, Blinn just with that slippery setup, parking it right on the racing line, just doing what he needs to defend there. And the slippery setup down the straights, he's able to kind of just hold the driver off long enough, and then you park it in a spot where you can't think about a late lunge. Like, you know, if Blinn's parked in the center of the road as they approach turn 1 and Scuda sends it down the inside and misses, he makes contact. He sends it down the outside, he misses the corner, and then he's going to get a penalty because nobody can get that chicane, right? The shortcut, quote unquote, that's supposed to be not a penalty, that if you miss one pylon you get a penalty for. So, you know, Scuda goes anywhere when Blinn's parked on the inside or in the center like that and makes contact, and it's on Scuda, and he's going to get penalized, so it's really not worth it. But speaking of, it looks like Blinn has run out of juice here because Scuda has just launched himself by. He's turned that battery up, he's cranked it up, and he's well ahead into turn 1 here, so Scuda gets the overtake done, finally by, after hanging behind Blinn for quite a few laps in a 3-way battle with Vitality. And Vitality, you see in the background there, just kind of closing back in a bit. Might catch Blinn by the end just based on the pace here. It looks like the medium runners starting to fall off a little bit, while the hard runners still have plenty of life left in their tire. See if Blinn can hang on here. It looks like he's raining on the front left there. You can see it on just about the center of the tire there, just slightly to the left. You'll see a line there. It looks like that's the line of blistering from running these tires so long in the Grand Prix here, with all these high load corners in Italy. No surprise that struggling with tires at the end here. But let's get back to this scrap here. We've got a 3-way scrap for the final podium position here. Foss sets the fastest lap with a 1:22 on the hard tires, 18-lap old hards. So maybe now with that 9.9 second lead, looking like a pretty good decision to go on the hards. I questioned it, I'm not going to lie, but maybe I was wrong. But JFD ahead there, you see him looking around, but nothing really for him. He is on the back of RC. We have 2 laps to go here, and the podium position is up for grabs. I'm not sure the time penalties of these two. I know RC has a couple, so these two might have him already regardless, but I would like to see some wheel-to-wheel action here in the final 2 laps. Let's see what these two do. Will they apply the pressure? Do they know about the penalties? Do they have none themselves and they can just hang back and be smart? Will the racer in them take over and force them to scrap it out regardless, not worry about time penalties? Let's see what happens here. There's only a lap and a half to go here. Scuda picks up a penalty. So if Blinn Machine can keep that gap under 3 seconds here in the final lap and a half, he might be able to jump back ahead of Scuda, because he did pick up a 3-second penalty. There is a bit of a bobble from Mansell, following closely through Ascari there, just didn't have the downforce he needed and almost lost it on the exit, but ultimately saved the car, and he's close enough to gain still regardless because of that slipstream. So here comes Mansell. If only it was the real one. Here he comes with the slipstream. He's got that DRS advantage. The Renault also has DRS, but it's not enough. Mansell applying the pressure heavily here. They're wheel to wheel as they approach turn 1. Who's going to get the edge? Mansell late on the brakes. They're side by side, and it looks like Mansell gets to the edge, and JFD had to yield that. He just didn't have the line through the next part of the chicane, and Mansell had a better run on him. So Mansell gets the place there on the final lap, and here he comes. Is Mansell heading for the podium finish here? He's all over the back RC, applying the pressure. We're on the final lap here in AOR. This is the America League and the Italian Grand Prix. Final lap. We've got some good action here for the final podium position. Let's see how it pans out. Curtsy. Oh, did Foss have a moment? He must have had a moment because Curtsy has closed the gap to 1.7. What has happened? And he must have damage as well because he's still closing. Oh, that's so quick. Oh, no! Huge moment! Oh, and he's flipped! Mansell is out! That is a monstrous crash! Oh, my lord! I can't believe what I've just seen. That was awful. Absolutely devastating crash. Foss wins the race, and he nearly lost it there. He clearly must have a lot of wing damage. No, he doesn't even. He just really slowed down there. Maybe he had to put it in lean. I don't know what happened, but Curtsy finishes second, JFD in third, RC fourth, Scuda fifth, Blim Machine sixth, Vitality seventh. Mansell with a massive crash there. My lord. I've never seen anything like that in this game. That was insane. But what happened was I was about to comment. I was about to comment on the incident and how it happened, and then it got worse so quickly, and he was suddenly upside down and with the wheel ripped off. But basically, he was so much faster out of the second Lesmo that he caught RC too fast. He didn't have time to react. So he caught RC so fast, and he nailed the gearbox, and then it just got his whole car loose. And he was like, I mean, it's such a fast part of the circuit. It's no shock that, like, it ended up with a DNF, but that was insane. What a crash there. But bad luck to Mansell there. It's just, you know, it's really frustrating in the sense that he nailed the exit, and it ended up costing him. He ended up DNFing because he nailed the exit so well. Not on RC at all. RC did nothing wrong. He didn't even move. It was just Mansell was so fast he didn't have time to pick where he needed to go, and ended up crashing himself out. Crazy finish there. So Foss nearly lost the victory there as well. He made a huge mistake, and he almost lost the place. But Foss wins, and Curtsy's second, JFD's in third, RC is fourth, Blim Machine takes fifth, Scuda is sixth, Vitality takes seventh, Mansell the DNF in eighth, so he'll actually get the points though because he was on the last lap there. Then John, Camden, Beck, Aletti, Phil, Cam K, and Get This or Die all DNF'd out of the race. Wow. Whew. That was exciting. A lot of good action, despite the fact there was only 8 cars left on track at the end there. Pretty excited. It was good action, and it was some good racing there, and man, that was quite the moment. I am glad. I mean, obviously, we know it's just virtual racing, so everybody's okay, but I was glad I was here to catch that on a stream, because that is quite the moment. I think I would have posted that on Reddit. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I got some WrestleMania to go watch, I think. But I'm glad I was able to step in and fill in for you guys here at AOR, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. It was a really good race there. Hopefully next week we can keep some more guys in the race for longer and get a little more action out there. And hopefully I'll be able to come back and do a few more streams for you guys, and maybe we'll be able to get you a couple other commentators to rotate in there so that you don't have any weeks missed for your streams. But we'll do our best, and we'll try to help you guys out for sure. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a good race once again, and I'm looking forward to tuning in to a few more and calling a few more hopefully for you. So I appreciate the opportunity, and have a good night, everybody.